is the climate the same like 10 years ago when you were much younger and today? A question, don't need to answer now, but same like for South Africa. Is it the same or is it changing? When it comes to pollution, do you feel it's hotter in cities? So all of these are our own responsibility. Do you agree or disagree? You are too passive. Do you know now what is passive design? Okay, note that word as well. Passive design is very important. Okay? So I'm just giving you a few tips, huh? Okay? And the rest is your job, like I said. So basically we do have a huge responsibility as a person and more importantly as an architect. We cannot just understate that, okay, yeah, we are architects and that's it and it's over. Okay? So it's beyond that. Culture. When I look at you and when I hear the various countries which you represent, okay, in a way, that's fantastic. 3 persons from outside, as guests, we are here. My president, Donatien from Congo DRC. The chairperson for Education Commission, Fabien Oetrago, from Burkina Faso, and myself from Mauritius, from 3 diverse contexts with diverse challenges, and of course with diverse cultural background. I come from a small island. Again, look for the, read a little bit about Mauritius on the internet, okay? So 300 years ago, there was no people living on that island. Did you hear about the dodo bird? Who heard about the dodo? Again, over here, none? Dodo, it's D-O-D-O. Go and find that word as well. It's about the heritage. It's the bird no more exists because the meat was so good as per textbook, history textbook. So the first people who colonized the islands, the Dutch, then the French, then the British. Basically the Dutch, they ate all the dodos and the dodos are gone. And literally in French, when you say faire dodo, what does that mean, lady? Aloud. Dodo, c'est quoi? Okay. Don't dodo there, hein? Okay, someone says sleep. Yeah, the bird is gone forever now. Okay, but this is just one small part of the story. Okay, I'm talking about the heritage that we should be having. So basically, culture and preservation and heritage, there are so many buildings, there are so many sites which have historical backgrounds, meanings, and transmission. There are, like, some images are shown there. This is a place in Uganda. How many amongst you visited that place? I don't want to state the name. I want you to tell me. Look at that first image on your left, top. Can anyone tell me what's that? Who knows it? Raise your hands. All of you? No, really, truly, raise your hand for all of you who knows that place. Okay, so I put myself in the same basket. It is a shame if we don't know it. So hopefully before my president, my commissioner and I leave Kampala, Uganda, we'll need to find some time to visit that place. And you who live here, you need to know what's the history behind that. Why? Because there is a message that it carries, okay? And again, it's up to you to discover what that message is and how you're going to transmit it, what we say, to the future generation. And culture, okay? You like eating good foods? Okay, things like, I feel like you're really hungry now because when I say food, okay, it's a yes, I can hear it. Yeah, just in food, you know how many countries like have classified their food as not just a local gastronomy, but it's in the world heritage of intangible, heritage. That's how we qualify that, okay? So there's so much. Now, speaking about architecture, that's even more interesting because like we said earlier, Professor Jose mentioned that. Oh, no, the VC mentioned. We are here in a room, okay? It's a building, it's about architecture. You are at your place, okay? It's about architecture, okay? You go to the hospital, again, it's about architecture. But that's a different story. Here I'm talking about what is transmitted from one generation to another, okay? And there's so much also in that one. And what is important, I want to share something, but not now, just in a couple of minutes, because I kept it intentionally, and this message is more towards Henry, and I think by now he knows what I'm going to talk about. Are you aware of what I'm going to talk about? No, you're not sure. You do? No, you don't. All right. So, anyways, so we are definitely guardians of our history, okay? And how you will understand we are guardians of our history, it's only when you start interesting yourself to our history, and it's not otherwise. And what type of history? This is also very important. It's not the history that is told by others. I mean people from outside your local context, okay? It's not history in history books that are prepared, published by people from I don't know where, okay? It's about your local culture. There is what we also call local traditions, how things are transmitted. And also, you go to, you know, Uganda, like in many other countries, you do have like vernacular architecture. Are you conscious about that term, vernacular architecture? How many? Yes, no? You see, I talk about food, it is a yes. I speak about architecture. Why? Anyways, so that too is very important, okay? We heard earlier the VC mentioning the population of the continent in Africa. How many amongst you can confirm or can state, based on your knowledge, what is the current population of the continent? Anyone? I'll pick and choose. Huh? All right, you, the lady in blue. What is the yes, you. She's watching me. She doesn't, it's me. No, not to you, the one behind you. Hello? Oxa, just behind you. Yeah, the lady in blue. Give the mic on that other, yeah. She's too focused. Yeah, that's her. All right. Tell us, what is the population of the continent today? The mic is coming to you. Your name first. Don't hesitate. You don't know. Okay, and what is the population of the continent today? Okay, who say 7 million? 7 billion. We won't have food to eat later today, huh? I can guarantee you that. Okay, who knows approximately what is the current population? Okay, the gentleman in the front. Okay, like I said, my presentation is not really about architecture, because this you hear all the time. Yeah, just give the mic here, okay? It is really just to interact, because this is fundamental. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, it is around 1.3 billion people. And just in Eastern African region, there are some, like, I would say, 500 million. Just in East Africa, right? And do you know that half of that population lives in, I mean, people live in urban areas, so 50% of that. So basically, we are talking about some 250 million people living in cities. Can you understand what that means? I heard earlier that some people, or some of your colleagues, prefer to stay at home and to be online because they don't want to be stuck in traffic. But who creates that traffic jam? Who? Yeah, you can speak. Loud. Okay. Okay. Are you sure? Okay, about Kampala. Who designed Kampala? Who is that urban designer? So people find ways. Okay, nice.
The urban designers, people coming to construct, if they give us something to not functioning, it's not going to work. So the congestion is going to come in.
Okay. Now, what you're telling me, if the design is good, people would do good, and if the design is bad, people will trace away, but not doing good necessarily. Okay, so, okay, fine, this is your statement. I won't give my opinion about that, but there is an image on the left-hand side again. Who knows, well, who knows where that picture is taken from? Anyone? Loud, just say it. Lagos. So it seems like being a famous image. Do you see people there? Okay, more cars than people. Have you heard about an architect who is called Le Corbusier? Raise your hands. Seems you like Le Corbusier a lot, because again I hear the yes. Okay, he designed cities for machines. That was modernity, designing cities for machines, because machines were the new trend at that time. But if he would be alive today, I think he would tell you differently, maybe, or maybe not, because he was quite a crazy one. Anyways, not saying more about him. We have a challenge, because the challenge is, you know, the continent is huge, for sure, the population is big, for sure, but we have an issue of not having, what I would say, a balance between the territorial imprint. People living in rural Africa, people living in cities, and yet, have you seen the images where you have some of our brothers and sisters in boats trying to just cross the ocean to be in Europe? How many amongst you are conscious about what is happening there? Do you know that? Migration. Who knows about those issues? Raise your hands again. Please, these are real issues. Just these few, or all of you? Are you conscious of what is happening? Raise your hands honestly, please. If you are aware, then it's good. For all those who are not aware what is happening, this is a big problem. So what we have, and this has been a trend even in today's developed country, even in my own country, okay? So you have what we call rural migration towards cities. In French, we call it exode rural, right? So they leave villages because they believe their lifestyle, okay, their comfort is not good enough. Cities, it's like aspiring them for a better future, better, oh, what is happening? Come on, you're controlling my screen. Who is controlling my screen? You guys? This is technology, not good. Hello. Who is doing that? Is that gentleman doing this? Please confirm. Someone? They hacked it. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Maybe it's a message to say that I'm talking too much. We can't control it. Ah, just close it. Okay, fine, interesting. Okay, I just continue. So, yeah, when it comes to the rural, oh, that's serious. Okay, just close everything. Just shut it down. Can you? Yeah, thank you. So, are you happy to have like good technology? So this was a life hack, right? Is it someone in the room? And I'm the one who approved it. Hack it. Seriously. Yeah? Okay. Anyways. So, you're trying to restart? Really? Okay. So, Well, now it's going to be a bit more difficult for me, but never mind. It was earlier no images, but just a few texts. Now it's just me. Is it fine with you? Are you still hungry? Who is hungry? The first row. They are the early ones to come. That's why it's normal for you to be hungry. Okay, now let's see. Taking it further a little bit. Okay, if you don't mind, I'll just have my small notes. So we won't have a live streaming. This is also what we call backup. Have you ever lost your files, your design projects? I feel that I'm not an architect today, strangely. It's no problem. I don't want to be shown. All right. Okay, that was just a small pause. Is it working? Perfect. You see? So this is what we call a backup plan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was here. So, no, just to tell you that the fastest growing continent in terms of population is Africa. The population is going to double over the next 3 decades, in less than 30 years, to put it that way. Nigeria is already around 300 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, VC. Nigeria is already 300 million, approximately. 450, 250. Okay, so, but, yeah, but these are official figures. You know that's not true. So the point is, it's really picking up and the population is growing. Now, see, just imagine Kampala, the way it is today, okay? In like 30 years from now, we're going to have double that number of people. Do you think there will be double the number of traffic? It's a question. Where would the people be living? Will there be enough space? Or enough rooms or enough houses? Come on, seriously, tell me. Yes? Louder. Okay, fine. So I'm thankful to that gentleman because he said people go elsewhere. I was talking about that rural migration towards cities again. Are you conscious what the problem is exactly? So we do have space. We do have a lot of space across the continent. It's huge. You just go outside the city of Kampala. You will have great green fields, a lot of space. But why people still prefer being in the cities? You think people out there can't manage to find a nice spot to live or to get their food and so on and so forth? There are issues, there are challenges. Basically what is the biggest concern is we are not creating the right environment like in rural Africa and enabling the development of rural Africa in such a way that people feel comfortable there. The problem is when they are not comfortable in their small remote villages, which might be very nice as a quality of life in a way, but they are not conscious about it. They move to cities and that adds a pressure to cities. I'm not talking about energy problem. I'm not talking about water issues. I'm not talking about sanitation issues, okay? Which in many countries it's a big, big concern. What about solid waste? Are you conscious about the problem related to solid waste? And why I'm asking that question, okay? As architects, should we be asking the question of solid waste? Question to you, yes or no? Why? That lady in blue this time. Your name, please? You. Not the one behind, yeah, you. Yeah, it's good.
My name is Priscilla Bridget Bavidia. I think we should be aware of that question because it affects our health, and as we're designing places where for people to live, they must be living in healthy areas that won't make them sick. So we should ask, how are they managing the solid waste?
Us as architects, urban planners, urban designers, and so on. Because we are here to prepare the environment where people would be living, people would be working, people would be having leisure time, and so on. So solid waste is one of the biggest problems created by humanity. I don't want to go into that detail because I believe you are conscious about problems caused by plastic, not just in land, but also in water, in the ocean. These are big concerns, big issues, and how architects can tackle those questions are definitely key to us. But like I say, this is not the topic today, so I don't want to go too far. All right, just imagine now that image. Someone is from Kenya here. This is in Kenya. Where is that lady, the young lady? Ah, you are here. You know that place? Yeah, please pause on the mic.
It's a slum in Nairobi, Kibera slums. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine at least what has been censored was surveyed. 700 people live in that slum. It is considered as the biggest slum in Africa. 700,000 people living there. So when you look at how it has been built in a way, it looks to me from a top view, it looks much nicer than many of our cities. It's like a painting. No? Yes? No? Yeah? It's like harmonious. Do you agree? Why? It's good that someone said no. Why, according to you, I would say it's harmonious? It has been done in an organic way. You know, we human beings, we have a basic instinct to like develop our own form of resilience. When you need a place to live, you will find a way to build something. In earlier days, you had man caves, or cavemans, better say. Okay, sorry. So, okay, we just need to have a shelter. We find a way to shelter ourselves, our family. So here, again, it's about resilience. People need to develop their own resilience. So they just do whatever they have as means and they build it. But here too, we have biggest issues, again, related to sanitation and solid waste, water pollution, and so on and so forth. So again, coming to that question about, you said urban designers, but not necessarily urban designers. It's about planners, city planners, and so on. So there are big concerns. And why till now these problems are not tackled? Can you imagine here, if it is 700,000 people, how many housing units, if one need to build the housing units for, say, a family of 3, how many housing units would you require? A quick mathematics. How many amongst you are good in maths? Okay, no answer. So anyways, we do have issues, again, when it's related to urbanization and cities. And again, we as architects, we have that responsibility. All right? So the point is, as designers, as people who like can envision how we can shape our cities, and beyond our cities, it's our rural Africa. Okay, we can really do one thing, brings smile to people, okay, through our action. And again, this is the impact, the form of impact that I was talking about. Now, being time conscious, I'll just speed it up, okay, to spare a couple of things which are not necessary. Technological progress, we've seen it. The laptop was just hacked. Excellent, okay. But apart from that, I think you've heard about 3D printing of buildings and more technological progress. Are you well versed with artificial intelligence here? How many? Raise your hand, please, seriously. Okay? I'm happy that Henry raised his hands. Now, tell me why I was waiting then to address to him. Can you tell me, Henry, why? Why earlier I said I have something for you to ask you? No, not at all. You see, humans have failures as well. Me too. Actually, Henry and I used ChatGPT to format our presentation. His text had it. My text had the same thing. And the reason why I say I keep it the way it is, because until I say it, okay, nobody paid attention to it. Right or no? Honestly. Yeah, thank you. A round of applause to Henry. And me if you want. Okay, no, seriously. So the thing is about technology, you can use it, surely, but then you do have limitations as well. And I want to use that as an example, okay? Machines will give you whatever you input as information, and that's it. But we humans, we aren't machines, okay? We can do far beyond that. And this is the uniqueness, because technology is at our hands, okay? We can do a lot, okay? But it all depends in which direction we want to take it to further. And again, it's about what was said earlier, humanity, how do we connect with one another? There is no artificial intelligence can engage with you, interact with you in a way that we could actually do it, let's say for today. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but that type of interaction, we have our colleagues who are online, it's again another thing, but being here, being present here, okay, our feelings, our emotions, the way we start thinking, okay, the impact is different. Do you agree with that? Yeah? Anyways, so I'll just speed it up, like I said, to come to one important thing, collaboration. And I'll conclude just in a few minutes. How many amongst you here in this room do projects like in team? Raise your hands. 1, 2 only. The rest you don't work. Do you do teamwork for your projects? So raise your hands, please. All of you. So at times when you're in a team, some will move fast, other would be slow, okay? But it's always about debate. One would say, I have the best idea. The other one will say, no, mine is best. Do you have any problem with that? If someone else's idea is best? Yes? No? No, it's not a problem. So basically, what is happening, you see, again, coming to my president and my commissioner and myself, we are from different contexts, but we are together to work together for one reason, to go in one direction, okay? So we have different visions, bringing those visions together, we harmonize it, and to agree, okay, we want to head here, okay? Similarly, when you need to work, you know, we more and more talk about mobility in Africa, okay? And when I heard earlier the diversity that this university has in terms of nationalities, it's about mobility. We still have a lot of challenges in terms of mobility. At times when I needed, the first time I traveled to Kampala, according to you, what route I had to choose to come here? Can you give a guess? From Mauritius, a small island, to come to the mainland, the continent. Can anyone just guess what was the route I had to choose? Of course by air. I'm not a good swimmer, but okay? No. If someone gets that right, that person has a treat. I'll invite for lunch or dinner. Preferably a lady. None of you. I had to travel to Dubai, wait X number of hours, then from Dubai to travel to Kampala. And I don't talk about the price of the air ticket. I don't talk about the waiting time. It's just crazy. To go and travel within the continent, I need to go outside the continent to be in the continent. Do you think it's normal? It's not normal, not at all. All right, anyways, I'm nearly done, so I see the super IT architect is here to say the hacker is gone. Okay, so the challenges that we have, it's really, we need to find interconnected, okay, way of working, of collaborating, of exchanging ideas, and so on, and create the momentum to move forward. And this is very, very key. Just sharing one of the images of how we work at the level of the Africa Union of Architects. These are architects from all across the continent, above 40 countries. Have you ever heard about the number of architects across the continent today? Are you conscious about the number of architects? Anyone? Any guess? We ourselves, we have a problem to guess the exact number, but we've tried to make some estimates. There must be some 100,000 architects, like registered architects, and maybe half of that figure who are trained architects but not practicing architects. Okay, it's just a guess. And this is one of the tasks that we have given ourselves at the level of the AUA to understand the actual figure. The VC talked, and sorry, not just the VC, Professor Jose, the Dean, talked about empowerment. You know, it's too easy just to have like wonderful, nice images about super beautiful buildings, and we say, wow, wow, wow. But architecture is not about just this. It's nice, you have good designs, okay, beautiful renderings, beautiful 3D, beautiful models. By the way, congratulations for the models out there. Very inspiring, so you can give yourself a good round of applause, okay? But to conclude, like I say, we can't do much if we don't empower ourselves. Students, that's where we need to invest in. Today, the university is investing in you. You have your own investment, at times your money, your time, your energy. The AUA is also investing in that because it's one of our objectives, creating the bridge across the continent when it comes to students, when it comes to educational institutions, and so on and so forth. So I won't talk about these points. On Monday, we'll surely have a chance to look at these. I would like just to bring my intervention to a closure briefly. So architects are like crazy people. It depends on my mood, on my day, and where I am. I'm also a crazy person, so I'm just sharing a photo of my team and I. So it is about having fun together as well, all right? Who wants to come to Mauritius? No. Now you're cheating me. Earlier I was asking questions. The hands were barely raised, but okay, fine, good. So Henry can share my contact details. We'll get you to Mauritius. Do you want to travel to Dubai or by boat or swimming? All right. So in any case, we are powerful people. We are powerful people as architects because the way we are trained, I've barely spoke about architecture in my presentation. It's not about architecture. Everything I've been saying, it's about people. It's about our environment. You need to be conscious about that, fundamentally conscious about that. Because through design, that's how we create the impact. Either short-term impact, middle, long-term impact. That's how we can create the impact. And there's no such idea which is the best and the only idea. You can just think again beyond that, okay? You can reinvent yourself each time. Failures are part of our, let's say, of our journey. Never be afraid of making, of being a failure, but just for a short time, but to allow yourself to understand why you failed and to reinvent yourself and to push even beyond. I just want to conclude by saying 3 points, 3 simple things. And again, it's about statistics. I talked about the population of Africa that is going to double in 3 decades from now. 2.4 billion, 2.5 billion people across the continent. We currently have a big shortage of, let's say, housing, across the continent. Okay? Just in Nigeria, there's a shortage, and these are actual figures, 70 million housing units shortage, just in one country. Are you conscious over the next 30 years, how many housing units do we need to build daily? My question is clear, daily, to respond to the housing needs of the continent. Can anyone give me a guess here? I repeat the question. For the population that is going to double, 2.4 billion or 2.5 billion, for the next 30 years, we will need to build houses. You agree? Yes? So, how do we build? The number of housing units to be built, how many, according to you, on a daily basis? Guess. There is no harm in guessing something. Again, it's a failure which don't harm. Can anyone guess? Okay, please guess. At the back. Loud. 2 million daily. All right. So, just to help you. Yeah, please. Okay, about 2,000. Actually, we need around 50 to 70,000 housing units designed, built, delivered, and ready to be used. Do you know you think, is it feasible? So there is a shortage of architects. We need to train architects. Universities like the International University of East Africa is doing a great job already. We need more universities. But not just to have more universities, we need more students in architecture. We need more people to empower those students. So that's how we can build that power together. And Professor Jose mentioned it earlier in his own terms and in my terms. We need to connect. And when we connect, we can learn from each other. And when we have learned something, we need to share. It is about transmission. And the best thing is, for me to end here, is this. I've ended my presentation, and I think you didn't guess what that is. Do you know what is this? 2 elephants, okay? Then what? Anyone, please. Yes. Okay, Kenya, lady. Do you know? Masai Mara. Are you conscious of Masai Mara? Yes? No? Come on, raise your hands. To go to Mauritius, you need to travel to somewhere else before. Seriously? Yes? Basically, Masai Mara is a touristic hotspot, so note it and search for it. It is in Kenya, and where every year, okay, have you seen that film, how you call it, Ice Age? No? Yeah? Yes. What were the animals doing? They will put birth to, small elephants. I don't know how we call small elephants. But anyways, these are their basic instinct. If they are doing that for ages, for thousands of years, I think human beings can also be a bit more conscious about what we can do, how super powerful we are for good things, and that's how we need to act collectively for a better future. So on this note, thank you, and I hope I was not boring to you. And again, sorry for not having a lot of architectural images, but the message was more important to me towards you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Architect Chavinish. Those were wise words. It's a pleasure to hear from you, sir. We have been hacked, but now we are back online. Everything is sorted. I don't know who caught such interest and thought of hacking our system. So, one thing I love about architecture is that all architectures always stand out, yeah? They are the type of people that do not conform to the normal standards, but rather they live in a world of innovation and imagination. There are people, I think we can refer to architects as warriors of creativity. Am I wrong? Does anyone agree with me? Yeah? Yes. Architects are warriors of creativity and innovation. So I think our system is back online. You give us a few moments and they'll project for us. I will continue to remind our audience online, when you have any question that you would like to be answered, please send it in the chats. We have technicians who are going to read them and they're going to be able to provide you with the necessary answers. Hello. Oh, for physical questions, we're going to have a Q&A session where you're going to be asking your question. So please write them, keep them with you, and we'll give you a chance to be able to ask your questions. Let me keep the words short as we dive into our next session. So we're going to have a panel session where we're going to be talking about challenges, innovations, and the future directions that architecture is going to be taking in the future. I'm going to be inviting a doctor, the head of department for architecture in IUA. He's going to be our moderator, Dr. Abdul Salim Shema. Please come and take us into the panel session. As he comes, allow me to introduce the different panelists that are going to be taking part in this panel. Firstly, we're going to be having Dr. Dodo Yakubu, all the way from Nigeria. A round of applause, please. Our second speaker panelist is going to be Dr. Hassan Nafi, Hassina Nafa, I apologize for the pronunciation, all the way from Algeria. A round of applause. The next panelist is going to be Mr. Isaac Okalebo, all the way from Uganda. Sorry for keeping you waiting, but you may come and take up your place. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Before we start with this, I would like to use this opportunity to ask if there's anybody with a question, a suggestion, a remark about the presentation that was just finished. So anybody? Yeah, can you share the mic with him, please? Can we have another mic here? Another microphone that we can, yeah. So let's have one with the audience. Yes, and one to him, please, so that the questions can be answered comfortably. Don't we have another wireless one? All right. Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable there? All right. Yes, please introduce yourself briefly and ask your question.
It was about where you posed on shortage of architects. Then you were talking about affordable housing as a solution of the number of the housing units that would double. And I had a question, should I say a conflict? I beg to divert. When you talk about placemaking and maybe participatory design, whereby we have to engage the community in the design, because most of the things we're talking about as architects, it's more of something isolated. But when we try to merge in the community, it's something different, whereby I can say there are some projects in relation to slums that have failed, and there are some that have been a success. And to give an example, but I'm not certain of this. Yes, I have the question, yes. The examples I have is, one example is in South Africa, but I'm not certain of the name of that slum. Then also one is in Uganda currently. But then, these architects, the urban designers, the urban planners, they developed different interventions to solve this problem of informalities. But then it never worked out. So I'm trying to find out how maybe you can approach it, and maybe how you can approach the traffic and the congestion. Because, for example, if I can give a case in point whereby they try to relocate some of these people from slums, but then these people ended up again, like for Uganda, they relocated, they provided properties, but people saw these properties, then they went back to the slums. Because their problem was not the structures, it was not, should I say, the aesthetics, but the problem was poverty, sanitation. So it poses a big question.
We architects, we are not at the tip of the world. We are not the problem solver of all problems on that planet. Definitely not. We can't tell ourselves that, okay, there is a slum here and we are going to resolve it all on our own. We don't have a magic wand to do that. Far from that. You mentioned a word which is important, participatory. Okay, participation. Participation of the community. Engaging with the community, understanding what is the exact issues, okay? What are the exact issues? What type of solution to bring to and to resolve it, not architects, but together with the community. And one example, I think since we recently got a Pritzker Prize from Africa, okay, Francis Kéré, have you seen his work in depth to understand what he does? How many amongst you really interested yourself looking at the works of Francis Kéré? I'm not talking about his architecture. I'm not talking about his designs, no. But I'm talking about his community initiatives. Just raise your hands again. Are you conscious? What Francis Kéré did, and what he says, as a kid from a small remote village, he wanted to bring his contribution to that village. He has a knowledge. He's trained as an architect. He was still a student at that time. He said, okay, let me try to do something for my community. He didn't do it alone. And I'm sure he didn't have the money also to do it alone. And he didn't have he didn't have the resources to do it alone. What he did, he started engaging with the people of his community to say, listen, okay, we have a school to build, but I have the ideas, but I don't have the manpower alone. I can't do it. Can you, villagers, help in doing that? Do you have an interest to do it? If these people are not ready to change their own future and create their own comfort, someone else won't be able to do it. So this is the engagement, the community engagement. And when it comes to resources, the other point that you need to understand here, and this is fundamental. I didn't go into the details, but you know, when we speak about construction materials, amongst my first question, it was about sustainability. What do you understand by that? What Kéré did is not magic. It's what was traditionally done there, using local materials. The only thing that he did different is to give a style to it, add some aesthetic to it, add some functionality to it. But the rest was done by the people, because the people could understand what the Mr. Architect has in his mind, crazy idea or not, but it was tangible. They made it happen. Now, it's not just about Francis Kéré. There are so many architects across the continent who are unknown because their works are not published or not shown, but forget about all of these. You here in this room as architects, you need to understand how you engage with public, okay, be it in cities, be it in rural Africa, to make that change. And it can only happen through that engagement of the community, okay? And that would also resolve part of the problem of what we would call the urbanization trend, because we could address better lifestyles, infrastructure in rural Africa, for instance. Okay, I hope I answered your question partly. Okay, and if I may add one more thing, when I said earlier the minimum number of housing units, 50,000 housing units to be built, okay, you won't have that many building contractors, not even here, to do it. So what you would need, it's people who are laymen. They know nothing about, let's say, building structures, calculations, waterproofing, this and that, but they have something, their basic instinct, okay? This is what we need to unveil, to uncover. It's there. And that's how contextually we can make things happen in a positive way. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just to add a few words, this is why later on we are going to have a discussion. Some keywords, because when we said design, for example, last 2 semesters we designed housing here in Shuampe, a slum behind our university. Everybody can do that, especially we're dealing with the second year architecture student. So you guys can design 2 bedrooms house, but the issue is how that house can go with flexibility and adaptability, because these people don't have the means to build at once. This is one. Number 2, as he said, the building materials. How can we, because they don't have the money to build with concrete, with cement, but how can we build with building materials that are readily available? And that's what we did with you guys. Some of the models out there that a lot of you are seeing, some of you knew that you were the one that developed those models, and you're very proud of them. People will not think that they belong to the slums. But when we look at the topography, look at the side, you look at the materials, then you understand, okay, we are doing it for the slums. So this is really fantastic response and a very good question also. So any other question or comment? All right, so I know you are going to have, thank you so much for responding to that. I know you are going to have questions, because now we are going into the curriculum. This is where it is touching everybody, professionally, academically, and also in reality. So it is the topic we will be discussing is about the African architecture curriculum, challenges, innovations, and future directions. So it is a pleasure and it is my honor to introduce the 3 invited professors for this panel, and I'll be moderating the panel. Number 1 is Dr. Yakubu from West Africa in Nigeria. Dr. Yakubu, are you with us? All right. We are going to give them a time to introduce themselves. I'm just checking to see if they're with us. Then the second one is Dr. Hasina Nafa. She is from Algeria. Then the last one is Mr. Isaac Okalebo from Uganda, representing East Africa. So I hope the panel members are here with us. Please, can you confirm if you are here with us? If you are audible, if you can hear us. I think the sound is a bit low. Dr. Dodo, Dr. Hasina. I think we have a technical issue with the sound. Hmm? No, check here. Sound is- All right, Dr. Dodo, I can see you now. Are you with us? All right, we still have to fix the audio. I can see you talking. Yes, Dr. Hasina, I can see you as well. We are trying to fix the audio issue. Dr. Hasina, can you say a word? Dr. Dodo, say something to confirm. Dodo.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes,
I am here. Can you? Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
I am here. Can you? Yes.
Hello.
Yes. I am here. Can you? Yes.
Hello.
Yes. I am here. Can you?
Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, excellent. Great.
All right. I think we are. But I can hear myself.
It's good because we can hear you.
All right. All right, we are going to start the session now, and I think we have two of our invited guests with us. Dr. Dodo is with us, and Dr. Hasina is with us as well. Dr. Isaac is not with us, I think, but we are going to start immediately anyways. I would like to start with Dr. Dodo. Dr. Dodo, in just like few seconds, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you very much once again. Thank you, the African University, and thank you for this wonderful PhD in Malaysia. While after graduating, I worked in Malaysia for 5 years. Malaysia, University of Sciences in Malaysia, Spain. I continued my sojourn in Istanbul University. I did work there 2 years, and currently I'm working at Najran University in Saudi Arabia, southern part of Saudi Arabia, very close to Yemen.
Can you hear?
Prior to this, I did work in Nigeria, Modibo Adamawa University of Technology. That's it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. All right, thank you. Dr. Hasina, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. First, I would like to thank you for inviting me for this first African Congress. Very student-oriented, and I'm very happy about that. I hope to be the first of many more to come, so we can really progress on this plan. I will introduce myself very quickly. I'm from Algeria, actually, but I have been working in Northern Cyprus for the last over 20 years. I worked in Algeria in the early 80s. I have a PhD from, I have a master from England, Oxford Brookes University, and a PhD from Cyprus. That's it, and now I'm teaching. I'm the head of Department of Architecture. I would like also to say a quick word in French. I was going to say Arabic. Bonjour à tous. Je salue tous mes confrères africains, tous mes confrères en architecture. Je salue tous les architectes du monde et je salue surtout nos étudiants qui seront les ambassadeurs de leur pays. Nous faisons tout ça pour vous. Merci. Merci à tous. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. Nice to have you here with us today. All right, as I said it earlier, the topic that we are going to be discussing is related to the curriculum. So this is what we are going to be discussing, and those curriculums are about the how are they related to the African context in terms of the architectural education. So we have the main topic, which is the curriculum of architectural education in African context. Then we have a subtopic which is called is the curriculum responding to the pedagogy, the local context or local reality, and in terms of decolonization. So this is a subtopic of what we will be discussing today. So I would like to give the floor to Dr. Dodo you have at least a couple of minutes, like 2 minutes, to respond to the issue of is the curriculum responding to the pedagogy, and the local context or local reality, or in terms of decolonization. So, Dr. Dodo, you have the floor now. Can you please respond to this?
Thank you very much for having me. If I will start my little experience of teaching across the globe over 15 years, I decided Federal University Technology Yola for 5 years. So being a student, we have about 5 institutes that are responsible for the curriculum that we use in West Africa precisely, I mean Nigeria precisely. We have the Nigerian University Commission, we have the Nigerian Institute of Architects, we have the Architect Registration Council of Nigerian ARCON, we have the association to do what? To mold the architectural curriculum. And they have one motive, and that one motive is to come up to produce global architect. And who is this global? That's an architect that can strive in a dynamic world with abilities to do this critical thinking, taking decisive decisions, as well as be mentally agile and be innovative and competitive graduate. This is the goal of these 5 organizations. But how do they do this? It's through the curriculum that they have. But how do this curriculum get the student? It has to be taught through individual lecturers using various pedagogy. But the question is, what is the vision of architectural curriculum in my region? One huge vision to produce that global architect.
Dr. Dodo, sorry for...
What this...
Can you hear me?
Now?
Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We did not go to
Can you hear me?
Yes. We did not go to the questions.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, can I continue?
Not go into the questions yet. Now I would like to throw the same opportunity to the other panel member to respond to the main topic. I will go to the question next, okay? If that's okay with you.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, thank you. Dr. Hasina, as you know, the subtopic is the curriculum responding to the pedagogy, the context, or local reality in our African context in general. So can you, Dr. Hasina, can you respond to this in a couple of minutes, please?
Are you talking about the vision or the curriculum?
No, the curriculum in general. We did not go into the specific questions. Now I'm asking in general.
No, okay. Actually, our curriculum at the moment, it's been revised a few times, but because in Cyprus there are many private universities, so they're quite independent working, and because there is this accreditation that every university should, follow an accreditation. So based on our students come from all over the world, and they should be accredited to be able to go and carry on further studies or work or have a recognized diploma. So the curriculum been revised all the time. And I can say that our curriculum in my university, which is called Girna American University, so which was based at the beginning on an American corporate, we have a lot of African students. The total foreign students, about 50,000 students. Among them, the highest percentage is African students, followed by the Middle East as a foreign student. The Turkish students are not counted students; they are mainlanders. So, yes. So the program is quite interesting at the moment, and the curriculum is. Also to mention something, because between all the School of Architecture, curriculum has a different period of time. Ours is only 4, okay? So all over the world it has been changing now in new, completely different. Let's not talk about that. Yes. Because they have 3+2+ this and plus that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, this is the change that we would love to talk about. Right now, it's I'm going to check again and see if we have Dr. Isaac with us.
Some universities have started, some are in the process. So this core curriculum, we have 2 books, Fundamental Architecture Volume 1 and Volume 2. This Volume 1 is technology and naval architecture. That is Volume 1. While in Volume 2, Fundamental Architecture, Book 1, Volume 2, you have the landscape architecture, you have the interior architecture, and you have the design, I mean furniture design as a discipline. So they are all degrees on their own. These 2 fundamental books, they will guide, and more volumes which will guide the curriculum is that it's involve the stakeholders of education, the NUC, the university lecturers, as well as the students. When these books were, completed, we were given to the student to revise. That means we had set of reviewers. Even the architectural student reviewed this set of books, meaning they were all guided towards African architecture, African ideologies, even the images. The images were not foreign, the images were localized. Curriculum and minimum academic standard, CCMAS, is the first of its kind, I believe, in Africa, and I believe other part of Africa will follow suit.
All right, thank you.
So,
thank you.
what this?
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
fine.
Thank you so much. And I would like to give the same opportunity to Dr. Hasina to tell us what is the vision of architectural curriculum in your region.
What is there? I cannot hear you properly.
What is the vision of architectural curriculum in your region?
Actually, talking about core course, I would like to, let me do something quickly, if you don't mind. I'm trying to find something. I mean, I myself studied in Algeria, okay, in the late 70s, 80s. And my curriculum was based on the French curriculum, okay. So basically every university is all over Africa is following foreign curriculum, Western, European, and I think it's time to change. It's time to base the curriculum on a proper, local, sensitive understanding of the context of the environment. Yeah. For example, if I take the course of history courses, they are all relating to the past of the Baroque, the Rococo, this and that, and even the modern architecture is not talking about proper African context-based architecture. Yeah, so I think we need the future, the ambassador, as I always call them, to be more sensitive to this new way, you know. And at the same time, I mean, I was trying to find the chart. We have a chart of core courses, and all this is perfect, it's based, but the contents needs big revision. Yeah, based on Africa architecture and urban planning, the way they are doing everything. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Hasina. Actually, this question is a very interesting one, the vision of architectural curriculum in different regions in Africa. As Dr. Hasina mentioned about in Algeria, they were adopting the French, let's say, influence of their curriculum. This is why in the sub topic, I try to include the word decolonization. So how do we adopt something that we already have, which belong to the Western? I mean, as I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with it. But what is important is how we take that, how do we customize it, how do you make it reflect our own region? So this is the most important thing, because we have our own regional problems. We have our own regional issues. I mean, I know it's when you start practicing, you also experience something with whatever background you have, because you are going to meet different clients. But the most important thing, I think, is the ethics, how you hold on to your ethics. So you should learn to say no, and you should learn to say yes. Because you are the one that went through this rigorous training, 4 years, 5 years, whatever time that you spent studying this, you are the one that did that. So the issue is, how is the vision of the curriculum in Africa? And I think this is something that, I mean, even if we don't have a straightforward answer now, but it's something that should give us question. Right now we are going through the process of reaccreditation of our program here in IUEA. And one of the things that we are working, as me, part of the, and head of the committee for the re-evaluating the curriculum and redesigning it, this is one of the major things that we are doing right now. How do we incorporate things that are addressing the local context? I mean, as I said earlier, I'm always emphasizing this. I have nothing against the Western culture. I have nothing against the Western influence. But we have to take this, customize it, adopt it, and use it. And in Africa, we have this culture, which, to my surprise, I was telling the professor the story the other day, and he was laughing. When I was studying back home in 2011, our vice president was a product of our department, Architect Namadi Sambu. As of then, he was the vice president of the country. So, as his alma mater, he was visiting us. When he visited the university, like, he was giving a speech, and part of his, he was trying to, like, light the moment. And he was saying, Professor Ene, and one of the our professors were there. Professor Ene, are you still teaching theory of architecture? And he laughed, and he said, yes. And he said, are you still teaching it 7 to 9 in the morning? And he said, yes. And he said to him, are you teaching it in Theater AB? This is the name of one of the theaters that we are using. And he said, yes. We started laughing, all of us. Then he started to mention the course content. And they were exactly the same. As of then, it was funny. But right now, when I look back into it, then we understand that architecture is changing. Technology is changing. Building materials are changing. Technical know-how is changing. A lot are changing. But to some extent, our curriculum is stagnant. So this is one of the major issues that we are facing with our curriculum. Apart from the decolonization process, apart from the contextualization process, apart from looking into local reality, another issue is the changes. We have to work with the changes. Otherwise, we'll continue going to be out of date. And this is one of the major issues. So, thank you so much. Dr. Dodo, I will get back to you now with my second question, which is, how is the architectural curriculum responding to your regional environment?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shema. If I may start, I'll address this issue because of time in two issues. I'll look at climate change and cultural preservation. Because when we are talking current issue globally is climate change, and from your talk and the Secretary General of the African Union talking about cultural preservation, cultural adaptation. We have regional environment challenge, including climate change, impact on Africa, resource scarcity, and environmental degradation, the need for eco-friendly resilience building. This is in one part. The second part is sustainable design principles, emphasizing energy efficiency and renewable energy sources, incorporating sustainable material and construction practice, promoting those elements that can enhance sustainable design, or you can rather call it green building design, as well as designing with a focus on biodiversity and ecosystem preservation. You see, these two aspects, these two blocks that are coming from climate change and cultural preservation, they affect the curriculum, or the curriculum to our region, how
we have to look at issues that have to do with awareness, technology, and policy. And when we talk about awareness, we are looking at what do we know? Where are we coming from? How do we go? Thank God to the